all good career planning and trajectory aside, essentially I just have always wanted to be a wizard. And this is definitely the closest I can get to it.
So we're in Fitzroy to catch up with Sam from Phoria. Phoria is an immersive digital twin development business. I mean, these guys are creating the new world. The layers to this business are tremendous, but the impact this business has to offer the world is remarkable. Yo, this is killer.
So I'm Sam, I'm Director of Spatial Computing and Experience at Phoria. Probably more important to talk about what Phoria does, which is create immersive experiences that let people go inside digital content and see the world and themselves differently. When you're inside and having a physical relationship with content, it has a much bigger impact, which can be used for good and bad, and we try and use it for good. So for example, like environmental and conservation messaging, where you're putting people in the story and they have a visceral reaction to it. Phoria has this idea of the digital twin as this digital content layer that relates with the real world. And our goal is to build experiences, systems, tools for people to be able to access, author to, create and experience that digital layer that's slowly becoming more and more rich and contentful. This is the Oculus Quest.
Yep.
You can put it on, it doesn't need a computer. It puts you inside a virtual world, and as you move around, it fully tracks your position in the space, which would then let you access these 3D worlds and stuff like that. So this, we think, is probably the first consumer pass at what will be the form factor that will replace computers and mobile phones. Yeah. In the future, the digital twin will really be the internet of the world. It'll be the spatial framework where data is accessed, collected and added to. So people will need to be able to have as fine a control on the way that they interact with information in the digital twin as they do through their mobile phones or through their computer. It'll be a requirement of their work and of their social communications.
What is the difference going to be between the real world and the digital twin?
A lot of the way we understand the world now is defined by symbols. We're not often looking at roads and thinking about the shape of the road to make decisions. We're looking at lines on the road and reds and hexagons and things like that. So a lot of that same symbolism will come to form the fabric of our everyday life, even though it's not actually tangible and that you can't touch it. So I don't think that it'll feel that different, even though a lot of what we see and interact with now won't actually exist without the glasses on.
For me, this is probably one of the most remarkable times because I'm wearing a device, but I can still interact with you fully.
Studies have shown that when you put people in nature, it lowers their physical arousal level. So we've combined high-res VR filming with mindfulness guided meditation by Swinburne and a bunch of color theory and therapy to make these really soothing environments that lead you into nature.
To be able to shift your mood by moving through different environments created by individuals is incredibly profound for the human race and what we're going to be able to achieve. You think about the huge issue that we face as a planet, but particularly as a country, with mental health. This is going to have tremendous impact on so many areas.
I think a lot of businesses say they want to do social good and have a positive impact with the work they do. And I'd had those conversations with the Phoria team and had, I don't know, taken it with a grain of salt. Then I went to see the guys talk, and where every other speaker was about R&D, ROI, yada, 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 and more plastic in the sea at the end of it, Trent, our founder, spoke about the work that they've been doing in hospitals with kids to help them cope with operations. And they'd done all this other cool stuff that I'd already researched. And I was like, why isn't he talking about that? But he spoke so earnestly about the impact that they were able to have with their technology on these kids to help them through a tough time that I was like, okay, maybe this is legitimate. This is part of their DNA. And it seemed to have attracted the kind of clients that want to tell that story. For example, WWF approached us through Google because of work we'd done around 3D shared experiences to create Rewild, which was a companion piece for the Our Planet series. People come together and it's a shared experience, and there's content from the show up on this massive projector. 3D content comes out of that and they all see it through their phones. But it's a shared experience where they decide where they want to go together, they learn about the different biospheres, and then they actually see their impacts and the damage that people are doing on those biospheres. The core message isn't that everything is in trouble, it's that those biospheres with the right support can actually recover.
Absolutely.
And they come in and they actually have a hand in rewilding. And because they're having this physical, spatial experience, they all come away changed because they haven't just seen it on a screen, they've been a part of it.
Tell me about your involvement as a business in Paws Fest this year.
We're going to be showcasing Rewild for the first time in Australia at Paws Fest. It launched internationally at the Art Science Museum in Singapore, Dolby Soho in New York, and We the Curious in Bristol last year, and have had thousands of people that have gone through all exhibits and come away making pledges to change how they impact the environment. There's a lot of revolutionary tech coming out in terms of availability of medicines, availability of energy, you know, even just solar and things like that. And I'd love it if in creating the next wave of infrastructure, it isn't just created by the few again. Anyone can learn to code. I taught myself to code on YouTube, and now I make universes.
And soon you'll be a wizard.
Yeah, well, soon. I'm pretty much already there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Load it.
Yeah.